by the rest. Not only so, but her sheaf is made up into human shape, and called the Old Man, and she must carry it to the farmyard, where the harvesters dance in a circle round her and it. Then they take the Old Man to the farmer, and deliver it to him with the words, "We bring the Old Man to the master. He may keep him till he gets a new one." After that the Old Man is set up against a tree, where he remains for a long time, the butt of many jests. At Aschbach in Bavaria, when the reaping is nearly finished, the reapers say, "Now we will drive out the Old Man." Each of them sets himself to reap a patch of corn as fast as he can. He who cuts the last handful, or the last stalk, is greeted by the rest with an exulting cry, "You have the Old Man!" Sometimes a black mask is fastened on the reaper's face, and he is dressed in women's clothes; or if the reaper is a woman, she is dressed in man's clothes. A dance follows. At the supper the Old Man gets twice as large a portion of the food as the others. The proceedings are similar at threshing. The person who gives the last stroke is said to have the Old Man. At the supper given to the threshers he has to eat out of the cream ladle, and to drink a great deal. Moreover, he is quizzed and teased in all sorts of ways, till he frees himself from further annoyance by treating the others to brandy or beer. These examples illustrate the contests in reaping, threshing, and binding, which take place amongst the harvesters, from their unwillingness to suffer the ridicule and discomfort incurred by the one who happens to finish his work last. It will be remembered that the person who is last at reaping, binding, or threshing is regarded as the representative of the corn spirit, and this idea is more fully expressed by binding him or her in corn stalks. The latter custom has been already illustrated, but a few more instances may be added. At Klocksin, near Stettin, the harvesters call out to the woman who binds the last sheaf, "You have the Old Man and must keep him." As late as the first half of the 19th century the custom was to tie up the woman herself in pease straw, and bring her with music to the farmhouse, where the harvesters danced with her till the pease straw fell off. In other villages round Stettin, when the last harvest waggon is being loaded, there is a regular race amongst the women, each striving not to be last. For she who places the last sheaf on the waggon is called the Old Man, and is completely swathed in corn stalks. She is also decked with flowers, and flowers and a helmet of straw are placed on her head. In solemn procession she carries the harvest crown to the squire, over whose head she holds it, while she utters a string of good wishes. At the dance which follows, the Old Man has the right to choose his, or rather her, partner. It is an honour to dance with him. At Gommern, near Magdeburg, the reaper who cuts the last ears of corn is often wrapped up in corn stalks so completely that it is hard to see whether there is a man in the bundle or not. Thus wrapped up, he is taken by another stalwart reaper on his back, and carried round the field amidst the joyous cries of the harvesters. At Neuhausen, near Merseburg, the person who binds the last sheaf is wrapped in ears of oats and saluted as the Oat Man, whereupon the others dance round him. At Brie, Ile de France, the farmer himself is tied up in the first sheaf. At Dingelstedt, in the district of Erfurt, down to the first half of the 19th century, it was the custom to tie up a man in the last sheaf. He was called the Old Man, and was brought home on the last waggon, amid huzzas and music. On reaching the farmyard he was rolled round the barn, and drenched with water. At Nördlingen, in Bavaria, the man who gives the last stroke at threshing is wrapped in straw and rolled on the threshing floor. In some parts of Oberpfalz, Bavaria, he is said to "get the Old Man," is wrapped in straw, and carried to a neighbour who has not yet finished his threshing. In Silesia the woman who binds the last sheaf has to submit to a good deal of horse play. She is pushed, knocked down, and tied up in the sheaf, after which she is called the Corn puppet (Kornpopel). In all these cases the idea is that the spirit of the corn, the Old Man of vegetation, is driven out of the corn last cut or last threshed, and lives in the barn during the winter. At sowing time he goes out again to the fields to resume his activity as animating force among the sprouting corn. 2. Passing to the second point of comparison between the Lityerses story and the European harvest customs, we have now to see that in the latter the corn spirit is often believed to be killed at reaping or threshing. In the Romsdal and other parts of Norway, when the haymaking is over, the people say that the old hayman has been killed. In some parts of Bavaria the man who gives the last stroke at threshing is said to have killed the corn man, the oats man, or the wheat man, according to the crop. In the canton of Tillot in Lorraine, at threshing the last corn, the men keep time with their flails, calling out as they thresh, "We are killing the old woman! We are killing the old woman!" If there is an old woman in the house, she is warned to save herself, or she will be struck dead. Near Ragnit in Lithuania, the last handful of corn is left standing by itself, with the words, "The old woman, Bough, is sitting in there." Then a young reaper whets his scythe, and with a strong sweep cuts down the handful. It is now said of him that "he has cut off the Bobber's head," and he receives a gratuity from the farmer and a jugful of water over his head from the farmer's wife. According to another account, every Lithuanian reaper makes haste to finish his task, for the old Rye woman lives in the last stalks, and whoever cuts the last stalks kills the old Rye woman, and by killing her he brings trouble on himself. In Wilkischken, in the district of Tilsit, the man who cuts the last corn goes by the name of the Killer of the Rye woman. In Lithuania, again, the corn spirit is believed to be killed at threshing as well as at reaping. When only a single pile of corn remains to be threshed, all the threshers suddenly step back a few paces, as if at the word of command. Then they fall to work, plying their flails with the utmost rapidity and vehemence, till they come to the last bundle. Upon this they fling themselves with almost frantic fury, straining every nerve, and raining blows on it till the word "Halt!" rings out sharply from the leader. The man whose flail is the last to fall after the command to stop has been given is immediately surrounded by all the rest, crying out that "he has struck the old Rye woman dead." He has to expiate the deed by treating them to brandy, and, like the man who cuts the last corn, he is known as the Killer of the old Rye woman. Sometimes in Lithuania the slain corn spirit was represented by a puppet. Thus a female figure was made out of cornstalks, dressed in clothes, and placed on the threshing floor, under the heap of corn which was to be threshed last. Whoever thereafter gave the last stroke at threshing struck the old woman dead. We have already met with examples of burning the figure which represents the corn spirit. In the East Riding of Yorkshire a custom called "burning the old witch" is observed on the last day of harvest. A small sheaf of corn is burnt on the field in a fire of stubble. Peas are parched at the fire and eaten with a liberal allowance of ale, and the lads and lassies romp about the flames and amuse themselves by blackening each other's faces. Sometimes again the corn spirit is represented by a man who lies down under the last corn. It is threshed upon his body, and the people say that "the old man is being beaten to death." We saw that sometimes the farmer's wife is thrust, together with the last sheaf, under the threshing machine, as if to thresh her, and that afterwards a pretence is made of winnowing her. At Volders, in the Tyrol, husks of corn are stuck behind the neck of the man who gives the last stroke at threshing, and he is throttled with a straw garland. If he is tall, it is believed that the corn will be tall next year. Then he is tied on a bundle and flung into the river. In Carinthia the thresher who gave the last stroke and the person who untied the last sheaf on the threshing floor are bound hand and foot with straw bands, and crowns of straw are placed on their heads. Then they are tied, face to face, on a sledge, dragged through the village and flung into a brook. The custom of throwing the representative of the corn spirit into a stream, like